we get to unbox this thing that we just got in the mail. So we're going to unbox this thing. It's actually a 10,000-pound winch with a synthetic rope for off-roading. So we're going to have a unboxing, and we're going to install this on the weekend. And I wanted to show all the parts in here, and I thought this was in another separate box, and it's not. There you go. This is what's in the actual box here. You got some instructions right in here. And you have the actual winch, which is in here. And you have the, I'm gonna move this over here. It's a TYT 10,000. So this is the controller, obviously, for the winch, as well as the wires attached to it. This ground cord here seems a bit short. But we'll see. And we have the actual controller on the side here. This little, for the controls of the winch. Which, there you go. There's your actual controller. In, out. The switch feels good. This feels a bit lightweight though. Normally, all the ones that I've had were a little bit heavier, maybe more heavy duty. So this is your controller for the actual winch itself. And then you have a slew of different hardware, plus the hook. But you would think the hook would be attached to it, but it's not. Oh, okay. They just put a lead on it, and that would have to go right in there. And here would be, oh, okay, a longer ground wire, because that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, well, this originally, I thought this was really short. And you got some hardware in here. And there's some more clips, I guess, for grounds and power terminals. Yeah, nifty. And a plate for that. And then we got a black. Your Fairlead, your protector there. TYT at the front. Not bad quality. It's just that they notched the inside here. I'm not too sure why that happened, but that's not a big deal considering there's going to be hardware in here. I wonder if there's hardware to mount this. Probably in here. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there'll be four. There'll be 4 for the winch, and then 2 for this here. Yeah. And then this is different because normally you'll have this attached directly onto your lead, but in this case I can see it right here. I'll have to remove it. This just goes right into there. And this, more goodies over here. There's 2 of them. They're a bit banged up here, but they're wireless leads. They probably, there's a red light that came on there and came on here. I don't know if you have to pair them. I'll have to go through the instructions for that. Which is sitting right here. And then you got this guy here. Electric winch, 12,000 pounds. I thought it was a 10,000, but no, it's a 12. And this has got a little release mechanism over here. In is engage and out is disengage. It's got 2 modes here. That flips over and then it locks right in. TYT. So this is where you would remove this here, and then just get your your hook or whatever else you want to put right on there. What I find weird is that this has already been spooled up. I haven't bought a million winches, but all the other ones that I've bought before all had this separate so that you can spool them in. So I don't know if this has been spooled up with weight on it. If not, we're going to have to unspool it anyways. And the other thing that I find is a bit weird, the back layout, there's one wire that's at the bottom. And then there's two right in there. And there's one here. Don't know why those are not closer together, but especially the one at the bottom there, depending on how you mount this, that might be not the best spot here. But yeah, this is the actual whole kit and caboodle. You will want to ensure the hole pattern of your winch matches the hole pattern on your vehicle. This is usually a universal thing, but everyone has their winch mounted on the bumper, and it could be on the frame or even at the rear. You will want to measure the depth of the bolt required to mount the winch on your hardpoints as well. This will require you to use a micrometer to calculate the amount of bolt length to reach the inside of the frame without being too long. Certain winch frames will have open ends which allow for longer hardware to be installed, but in the case of the TYT winch frame, it has grooved chambers to hold the square nuts internally to the chassis with a small gap above. You may only have about half an inch of distance to play with, and since these bolts are relatively large in size, they are not easily cut without compromising the bolt structure. So you can stack lock washers and regular washers and play with the thickness to accommodate the bolt length required. Once this step is done, bolting the winch to the frame is a fairly easy task, but you will want to mount and fasten the Fairlead before installing the winch. There are two types of Fairleads on the market today: the roller Fairlead, generally used for steel cables, and the Haas Fairlead, shown in this installation kit and mainly used for all synthetic rope. Also, before mounting your winch to your vehicle, you will want to mount the control box on your winch and fasten the appropriate wires to it. Most winches have 2 or 3 different mounting configurations for the control box, on the center or the sides. And the main factor in deciding how to mount it would be the wiring. Some configurations may require extra wiring length, or the wiring may be in the way of other parts of your vehicle, so plan ahead. In this case, we have a wide open DV8 bumper, which has a lot of space to mount the winch. We chose to mount the controller on the passenger side of the vehicle because that's the same side the battery is located, hence making our wiring run that much shorter. Once your positive and negative wires are installed near your battery, you will want to connect your black lead ground to the chassis. For this example, most Jeeps will have ground terminals mounted on the passenger side right near the battery. The red positive lead will need to be connected directly to the positive side of the battery with wiring protection. In this case, we use an included triple fuse group in parallel to protect the wire in case of a power surge. You could also use a solenoid with a fuse, or even better, a resettable circuit breaker. Once your wiring work is complete, you will need to start your vehicle and run a function test on your winch. Test the wired controller portions by letting out some cable and putting it back in. You will want to always keep a good amount of tension on the cable while doing so to prevent a hang-up. This is usually something that will happen when coiling a winch cable with no load on it. You will also want to test out any wireless controllers you may have. In this TYT kit, we actually have 2 wireless controllers, which is extremely convenient. You may also want to investigate the batteries required for these remotes and throw some backup with your gear. Another great feature of this TYT winch is the fact that the synthetic rope on the winch was actually preloaded. If you have a winch that's not preloaded, this just means that you will need to put a specific amount of weight on the end of the cable when you coil it up on your winch. General rule of thumb is that you will want to have your synthetic rope wrapped around at least 7 to 9 coils before putting any load on it. And then once you have your load on it, you will want to pull a minimum of 1,000 pounds. And the last and final part of the installation of your winch is actually going out and driving out and enjoying it and testing it. And one of the main features of having a winch is actually trying it out. If you don't know how to coil your winch while having a load, you can also just go out
and test the winch and use the weight of your vehicle to pull the load in and out, and get familiar with your winch before you actually need it. The last thing that you want to do while using any winch is to be using it for the first time ever when you're in a recovery situation. Well, I hope this video helps everyone who watches it, and enjoy your new winch in your off-road adventures.